Welcome back to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. And this one is the first time you'll be able to see it on YouTube as well, the whole thing. So today I wanted to do about being thankful and practicing gratitude and how much it does for our mental health. Since you guys seem to love all my ones about manifesting and all of this kind of stuff. So the power of gratitude. I mean, sometimes it's hard to be grateful for stuff when you get socket by something that happens in your life. Like, it's funny. With housewives, okay, just say we've just been paused, which I don't even know what that means, right? So, but now I've woken up like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, going, thank fuck. Um, you know, the phone is ringing. I'm definitely working. Life is good. And I've managed to create my life without people in it that I don't really want in it. And this just gives me permission to do more of that and permission to fully live the life that I'm creating for myself right now. Gratitude is so essential in your day-to-day mental health. And, so many of my girlfriends actually, because I never practiced this before and I always thought, oh God, what a load of bollocks. But it's completely changed my life. I was always a positive person anyway, don't get me wrong. Being happy is my superpower. I don't care what it is. Of course, obviously I get unhappy and I've been unhappy. And, like when I don't know, lost my business, lost my marriage, things like this happen. And it's not like I'm sitting there going, oh, I'm so bloody happy. Obviously it's difficult. It's a really difficult time. But how I deal with the outcome of it and what my overall view is that someone out there really wishes they were me. And actually, so many of you not email me, but DM me and remind me how many wish they were me. I'm grateful for so many things. Look, I had a facelift a year ago, and I get all these incredible messages about how natural my face looks and how they've all gone. I got about 6 today. And I was thinking, it could have gone so wrong. One woman, it could have gone so fucking wrong. And, some there by the grace of God. And I wonder whether it's just because I went into that room after having a 10-minute consultation and going, well, fuck it, I'm just going into it. And I think if you go into anything with a good attitude, things kind of work out. And it leads to a very positive outlook that rubs off everything. I've taught my children that you can't wallow in self-pity. I have taught my children that as long as they're doing their best, that's enough for me. My son is like a freak for his exams. And, I watch them, okay? Yes, they can be monkeys. Yes, they get distracted. But they've always asked me for tutors. They've always been diligent children. They've always handed in their coursework. And I'm like the worst mother in the world when it comes to this stuff. I barely know where the school is because I have this complete anxiety when it comes to school and the way I was brought up. I can't bear going to teachers' meetings. It just makes me absolutely clench up. So my poor ex-husband does all that side. And, so when their reports come and they're bitterly disappointed or whatever else, I'm always like, well, did you try your best? And they go, yes, mum. Then I'm like, well, that's enough for me. That's all I'm looking for. Because I wasn't a straight A student, but I'm certainly one of the most successful people out of my school. And, that comes from perseverance, outlook. And by the way, more than anything, outlook is everything. Because if you fail at something, it means that you're getting back up. It means that you're going to persevere. You'll try again. And, if at first you don't succeed, try again. There's something to be said for that. And, I find strength in focusing on the good. Of course, we can all focus on what's gone wrong, right? So let's say housewives pausing. Now, okay, that was something I did enjoy doing it, but it was a double-edged sword. Obviously it's a source of income, but is it my only source? No. And some people, it's the only source. So then you're like, okay, what have I got to be grateful for? Actually, I had to turn down jobs because I was busy. Now I don't have to, and jobs are coming. I'm building Bali. We're already in it. The apartments are being built. I'm buying another one. That's all happening, regardless of whether that's gone. And I've just signed another big contract, and that's before Christmas. And I wasn't really meant to be working till March anyway. So nothing has changed for me. Absolutely nothing has changed for me except my mindset. I haven't lost anything because I wasn't working till next year, middle of next year. I'm up for a few shows. You know what I mean? It's like, you never, my agent could call me tomorrow and everything could change. My agent could call me in an hour. You know what I mean? I've got 4 months for stuff to technically unfold in themselves, and every day was different for me. I've never been bored. Like I was touring last year. Maybe I'll go on more tours. It's that attitude. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because it's a hand that you were dealt, not one that you created. I've been dealt it. There's no changing it. So you may as well have a positive attitude. And my positive attitude is, I'm bloody amazing and I'll be fine. I am amazing. I've got girlfriends that fucking love me, who would do anything for me. And that is worth its weight in gold. And I'm so grateful for them all the time. They always push me forward. I was on the phone to my, one of my best friends, last Pippin and Stephanie Shoshi, and I love those girls. They just make me giggle and giggle and giggle. And, I saw them going to Paris the other day and I was like, oh, I've never been so jealous in my life. But I wrote it to them. I was like, I am so fucking jealous right now. I wish I was with you. But I said it in a beautiful way, not a way like, oh my God, why aren't I there? Without that, I'm grateful that I have them in my life. So I'm grateful that I, have the support system that when I feel anything, I can call them. And that is an amazing, amazing place to be. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful when, I really am grateful for the closeness I have to my kids right now, which is amazing. Like, they call me for everything. Although I moan in the best possible way that they call me 57 times a day, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, literally wouldn't change it for the world because, I'm so connected to them. And, I'm grateful for the experience. That's why, I'm grateful for Sergio. My God, like, who gets to meet a man like that when you're 43, who just literally worships the ground you walk on? Every day he tells me how much he loves me, 50, 60, 70 times a day. And then my kids, I'm grateful for my animals. Those animals give me so much joy. I know you all love watching them too. Like, just watching my tortoise in the morning makes me happy. It's really bizarre. So if you ever wake up with a little piece of anxiety when you wake up in the morning, that is a choice, right? Because obviously your unconscious mind is making you anxious about something. And sometimes I wake up with that feeling and I don't know what I'm anxious about, or I'm thinking I should be anxious, but I'm not really sure what it is about. Having gone through all these different things like being sued, getting divorced, losing my business, having been through all that, I think it's a constant, something that when you sleep, it wakes you up with it. And I wonder whether that's just an old habit I have, because sometimes I wake up with that feeling and then snap out of it and go, compared to where you've been, you have absolutely fucking no reason to feel anxiety. Just get up and kiss the ground. And that's what I've changed, right? So in tough times, you can always find something to be grateful for. You really can. Even when I was being, sued and all of those, I was grateful for the people that stood by me. I was grateful. I remember going to London, and Holly Candy was one of my best friends. It was like, come over to the house. And I didn't want to go and buy all the clothes for going to court and all of these things. And she was like, come over and raid my closet and take everything. And, my other girlfriend was like, stay at my house. And my other girlfriend was like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget them. Never forget the gratitude I have of what we went through together, even if you don't speak to each other all the time. I've got girlfriends in my life that there's no judgment on how often you pick up the phone, but when you do, you just slip back into it. And I'm so grateful for that. I just went back to London and I was so grateful for my old friends. I'm so grateful for my old friends that have never given up on me. I know that I disappear. I know that I'm here and I got into my new life. It's not because I don't love them. I just, just moved on, I guess. Not moved on, but it's just life takes over and we're so fucking busy. And actually, you should be grateful for the challenging times that have been, because let me tell you, those challenging times are the ones, or the only way you can realize what the good times are. So even though, maybe something small has happened or something that I had planned isn't happening in my life right now, so many other things that I hadn't planned for are. Like so many. I mean, I can barely find a night to stay in. I'm trying to look for a day that I can go and look for another apartment because we're so fucking busy. We're about to go to Thailand for our not honeymoon, what am I talking about? For my wedding anniversary, which is what, nearly 4 years now, I think it is, or 3.5. It's nuts, nuts. And I'm, about to go on the trip of a lifetime with the man I love and who I giggle with daily, and all of you giggle with. And I think all of you have suddenly seen what I fall in love with, that he is just a good, kind man. And at the end of the day, I wish that for anyone out there. I was talking to a woman on a podcast the other day, and she was saying that, it's so hard to find. It is so hard to find it. But there are men out there. It's just we seem to overlook them because we look for the wrong things, especially here in Dubai. And, you need to stop focusing on what you don't have and focus on what you do have. Because when you focus on what you do have, it's very funny to see actually we have way more than we think we have. And as I've said it before, living in somewhere like the Middle East, there'll always be someone prettier, richer, than you. So if you're constantly looking at what someone else has in that sort of envious way, you will never find peace. You will never find peace, and you can't live in a state of gratitude because you're not grateful, because you just, you're always looking at what you don't have. So I suggest, again, how important it is when you're doing your visualization and you're doing your manifestation to manifest and change the way you see things. Because no one can do that for you. I can see a beautiful pink flower, and you may see a shriveled up, dying flower. But we're both looking at the same flower. And I think it's really important to see how simple that is and how you can change your mindset on things. And I had this conversation with a friend of mine that's a doctor, and he runs a long-term healthcare facility, and some of the mothers in there obviously are mourning the state, their children who have been born with certain defects. And I was like, what, I thought about it a different way. That child who was born that way doesn't know any differently, right? He doesn't know that he's impaired in any way, shape, or form. But by crying and making him do all these things that maybe he, isn't right for his life, you're reminding him there's something wrong with him because you're mourning him. You're focusing on what's wrong with him instead of focusing on what's right with him. And, he's just unique. It's very different to having somebody who's had an accident that's lost something. When they're born with a certain defect, this is their normal. It's not your normal, but it's their normal. I think when you change the look and, understand the outlook on life and how easily you can try and switch it. And obviously that's hard for accepting things. But again, you can also find a glimmer of hope in all of these things, right? Because when you relax and say, okay, this is my new normal now, there is no point fighting whatever hand I have been dealt, and make sure that your child is happy, right? So maybe he needs special classes. Maybe he needs a light room. Maybe he needs stimulation. As long as you're providing all these things for his better life, there is no need for you not to find a glimmer of hope and get your life back. And I think this happens in every situation, even, when we're faced with sick children, we're faced with death, we're faced with mourning. You need to be able to find gratitude and positivity in a very dark hour. I know it's hard, but somehow to find the strength during these tough times is so important so that you don't collapse. You can't be good to anyone if you've collapsed under the weight of something like this. You need to be able to bring yourself back up so that you can be everything to everyone in the nicest possible way. So you can still be a wife, even though you're caring for somebody sick. You can still be a mother. Even though you may have a sick child, you can still be the mother to another child. All of these things are positive outlooks on, what can be obviously a very hard, difficult situation. Acknowledging that it might be difficult during these hard times is half of the superpower. You need to acknowledge that it takes work. You need to acknowledge that you need to recondition your brain in these times, because obviously it's everybody's natural place to go to the very bottom, to go, okay, well, he's I've lost my husband, I've lost a child, I've lost, I'm giving up. But you can't give up on life. And sometimes these are brought to us as valuable lessons. And you need to look and find out what that lesson is. And they're very hard. In the middle of the darkest hour, it's very hard to go, oh, let me look at focus on the bright side and see what the lesson is someone's trying to teach me here. I get it, trust me. But it's like a warm cup of tea, or, a kind word that can make such a difference in these times. Take the strength from within, focus on what you can do to change your immediate position, and bring joy to yourself in any moment in the day. So like, even if it's just going to sit outside for 10 minutes by yourself with a book, or look at the sun and just think, I'm alive. Honestly, ladies, I know that, we all go to dark hours and that there are tough times, and, people, especially today, have found themselves isolated with sick members of the family. All of these things have happened to us, but they don't define us. What defines us is your attitude when you go through them, and how you come out the other side. The best thing to do is to connect with your loved ones, and to, at this point, reach out and maybe write letters, read what you're grateful for, recondition yourself that it's not the end of the world, and, discuss things with your sort of immediate family. If you're feeling a certain way, make sure that you go to your community, go to your family, go to your friends, sharing what you're thankful before dinner. That's a very, very good one, actually. Before you eat, say, 3 things you're thankful for. And just, you'll be amazed as you say them. And I actually do the deep breaths as well, in through the nose, out for the mouth, really deep, right into your belly button. And as you say these words, your body begins to believe them, and your energy and your anxiety lifts. And, be grateful for these moments together that you have, because we're not promised any of them. And that's the thing. We're not promised any of them. And there's someone always worse off than you are. And it's beyond material things today. It's being grateful for just experiencing life. And I think we've got so used to being, dangled material things, especially, the way we all live with Instagram and social media, that we think everything relies on how much we own and what we have. And that's just not true, because then you'll never, ever be satisfied, ever. They're intangible things, like be grateful for the health. I don't know if we've all walked through hospitals and just gone, God, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I'm okay. I've been to children's hospitals. It's horrifying. It's so sad. And, you see the strength in the mothers, and you think, oh gosh. And, you're the one that ends up crying, and you're like, that's a selfish reaction. You need to, focus on powerful things, on how you can help. If you're feeling dark, and you're in these things, helping other people, by the way, really lifts your spirit. Whenever I feel like a bit low as well, or if if I've done a deal, I said before, I always send some money to charity, always. Or, I walked into the charity in Africa, and I really wanted to help everybody. And these young children who had nothing, I just took them the most simple things, and they were so happy to receive it. And so many of you wrote in to donate as well. But those kind of things bring me the greatest joy. And actually, just reminds me that, although I'm doing it for them, it also makes you so grateful, and it gives you so much inner peace and, thankfulness. I implore you guys just to think about some of the experiences that you're thankful that you've had in your life. And I look back at some of the experiences that I've had that have shaped me, like boarding school kid could live with some without some of it, but most of it now has shaped me. Climbing the Himalayas with Sergio, bloody hard. One of the hardest things I've ever done, but one of the most rewarding. And I'm still friends with everyone I met up that mountain. Starting Gift Library taught me so many things. My assistants that are still with me all these years later. All the people, my driver, my housekeeper, who've all stuck by me all these years here. And I'm not an easy person. My kids, see them as happy as they are makes me so thankful. Sergio, to watch him grow up with me. Like, I've watched that man evolve into this beautiful human that anyone would be proud to have on his arm. Anyone. To watch all of you fall in love with us more and more daily. I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for everything that you guys are giving us, because I see it and I see the shift, and I see that you guys really believe in us now. It's the self-gratitude, the acknowledging your own efforts. Sometimes people won't give that to you, right? I have gone full circle. I've been up, I've been down, I've come round, I've gone back up again. And I'm like, whoa, that was a ride. And I wouldn't change any of it, because now I'm on this like roller coaster again, doing, kamikaze, doing stuff with Sergio, but enjoying every fucking minute of it, every minute. So thank you again, because without all of you and the success I've had from the tours and the shows, and I'm 10 years into being on TV. That's nuts. 10 years. Most people don't last 10 minutes. So thank you for all the people that enjoy watching us. Thank you for all of you guys that subscribe to YouTube, because it makes a massive difference. It really does. Make yourself, pat yourself on the back. I got through being sued. I got through a divorce. I got through marrying a 24-year-old. I'm through the other side. And the other side's pretty fucking great. Let me tell you, by the way, if you push through in hard times, you get rewarded. God listens. And I'm not a religious person, but I do believe there is, somebody up there, and he rewards tenacious people and people that don't give up and people that do everything with a happy heart. When you're at the lowest and maybe you see another friend win and you think, why the fuck doesn't this all happen to me? Why do I always end up on the ground and they're like flying all the time? But you don't do it with an evil heart, and you don't do it with an evil eye. You will be rewarded. It's just timing. Timing is divine. Let me tell you that. Everything comes to you at the right time. Maybe I wasn't ready back then. Maybe I had all these lessons to learn, and now I'm ready for what is in store for me. I feel like I'm on this great, great trajectory. I share your stories of gratitude on social media. Tell everyone why you're grateful for things. I think pay it forward is something that is really extremely powerful when you pay it forward to other people and teach other people around you to change their mindset. Thanksgiving we did on the show on Ladies of London. I used to think it was a load of codswallop, but now I kind of get it. Thanksgiving, where you all go around the table and discuss what you're thankful for. What a lovely thing to do with friends and family. And it leads to such a nice connected evening. I went to this dinner the other night, and there was only 10 of us, and I didn't want to go, to be honest. I was tired. It's a Sunday night, and I was like, oh, fuck this. I've got to get dressed and do everything. I'm so grateful I went, because I met wonderful people. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and I've met wonderful people that will be in my life for a very long time. I'm grateful for that. And they were people that, I necessarily misjudged. I just didn't really connect or try to. And now I'm really happy they're here, and we've written beautiful message to each other saying how grateful we are to have met each other. What a wonderful thing to do at this age as women, because women should lift up the women. I think mindfulness and gratitude are so connected. Being mindful reminds you what you're grateful for. My son is calling me right now because he wants to have lunch with me and go to the doctor with me. I'm grateful for that, because some mothers don't have a son that would like to do all these things with him, and I'm going to, take him to have lunch with him now. And then we went shopping yesterday. And then my daughter sent me a PowerPoint presentation for all her Christmas gifts. And although, I could look at it and go, oh God, look at what do they think I am, right? I could look at it and go, another list of things they want. But instead I'm looking at it like, this is the cutest thing ever. Like, they have written me a PowerPoint presentation on why they deserve things. How amazing is this? And I love my kids. I see everything amazing in them. And they're such individuals. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for being annoyed by them sometimes, because it reminds me that I'm loved. I'm overly loved by my husband, my kids, and my dogs. It's a form of communication, right? It's an art. I mean, we should actually all post on social media one thing that we're grateful for each day. And I think it would be quite a powerful thing that you can pass around. But it deepens connection. It deepens connections with family, friends, and colleagues, especially when you're doing your goals. So if you're at work and you set goals together, and then your team reaches the goals, then you should tell them you're grateful, right? I have a team downstairs that make everything possible, and I know that one of them needed something, right? So I said, if we close this deal, take your money. And she was so grateful, but she earned it, and I'm grateful that she went out there and got me the job I wanted, and she deserves her money. And that's it. When you reward people and treat people right, they stand by you. It's an effect of kindness and positivity on others. I can't work this long with people and then own everything and they have nothing. I've just made my longest standing members shareholders, because if I win, they should win, because they don't do 9 to 5. They stay here and make sure that I'm winning. And I noticed that. I may not want to be able to, you may not be able to pay them more now, but if you make them shareholders, everyone goes, well, they're not as invested in the business as you are. Well, they are now. And it's amazing how people change when they feel invested, and when they feel heard, I suppose. Heard and seen and acknowledged for the work they do for you. Which is why, I suppose I've invested in my housekeeper and my driver. They've been with me 9 years. I pay a fortune here for their rent. They have a huge apartment, but they are happy. They're really happy. And when they're happy, it means my life is a fuck of a lot easier. They've never missed a day's work. They get here in the morning. My coffee is by my bed. I have my juice by a bed, and they live, in a beautiful apartment. Not in bunk beds, not in someone's garage, but they live in a beautiful apartment that any of us would be happy to live in. And, across the road from me. Perfect. And for that, I am rewarded with their loyalty and kindness. And, simple traditions today, I think we've forgotten the art of tradition as well, but simple tradition also makes you thankful and grateful. I was running around the house last night doing 3 hours of content for Christmas with Sergio. And let me tell you, although I hate taking content sometimes, I was so grateful and happy when I looked around my beautiful home that was made with me by love, with my designers who have worked with me for years. I am so grateful to have them in my life. And I hope that I've improved their lives. And those are loyal friends of mine now. And I look at my house and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. It makes me so happy. And we won an award for the best house in Dubai. I can't believe it. My little doll's house won an award for the best house in Dubai. We were up against 200 million AED homes. And it's because this house sings love and warmth. And everyone says cozy. It's cozy. And that's what people love about it. And I think, a lot of times we've lost the art of that. And just the spirit of thanking people, just saying thank you to people that help you. Thank you the people that help you grow personally in your life, and acknowledging what they do for you. It's so important, because even those small things absolutely come back tenfold. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it because it comes back tenfold, but they do come back to you tenfold if you acknowledge and give people respect. My staff run themselves. My driver walks in and out like he owns the place. But I don't really have to tell him to do anything because he knows exactly what to do. So I kind of stay out of his way. My housekeeper, she knows what I want before I even know what I want. And that's it. You can't pay for that. I'm grateful every fucking day that I've got a team of people that love me. My family loves me. My dogs love me. My turtle loves me. Oh, I'm grateful. So I implore you guys just to spend a minute, have a little think for what you're grateful today. Remind yourselves why this is a good fucking day. And, if you're going through a tough time, this too shall pass. Okay? Never a truer word has been said. This too shall pass. Write yourselves a list of why you're grateful, what you're hopeful for. Sit in the sun, look at the sky, and thank the Lord you're alive because someone out there wishes they were you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanbury. Please, everyone, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps.